Describe the prototyping process of designing forms and reports. What deliverables are produced from this process? Are these deliverables the same for all types of systems, projects? Why or why not? Designing forms and reports is a crucial component of effective systems. The aim of the prototyping procedure is to demonstrate to consumers how a form or report will seem. A report is a business document with some established data and blank spaces for filling in extra data. A report is a passive business document that is only used for reading and reviewing and only contains predefined data. It can include information from numerous unrelated transactions or from one single database entry. Design can be standalone or integrated into actual operational system after they have been produced. It is possible to utilize forms for both input and output. Form and report design is a user-centered activity that frequently uses a prototype methodology. The output of this is the compilation of a specification document that details each form and report's design. An overview narrative, a sample design, and a section on testing and usability evaluation are all included in a design specifications. Form report outputs from the system were identified during the structuring of the requirements. The different diagrams created during the requirement structuring process are inextricably linked to forms and reports. In order to get user feedback, you can have distributed prototypes of what the system will handle.
Related information should be arranged in logical blocks or groupings. It will be easier to imagine a dialogue if the questions flow from one set to the next. User can better understand the data they must be entered by grouping similar fields together. Here is an illustration. More than one column shouldn't ever be present in a form. Your users may perceive the form fields inconsistently if there are many columns or form fields. Because of this, you should constantly inquire as to the purpose of which and how the data request from your user is being used. When creating your interface, after learning more about your customer, be sure to take the following factors into account. Simplify the user interface. The finest user interfaces are essentially undetectable. They steer away from surplus parts and utilize straightforward language on labels and in a message. Utilize common UI components to maintain consistency. User will feel more at ease and be able to complete tasks more quickly if your UI uses familiar elements. You organize and hone this information onto an early prototype after gathering the basic requirements.
What are the functional capabilities needed in an interface for effective entry and navigation? Which capabilities are most important? Will this be the same for all systems? Concerns with flexibility and consistency are paramount. Users should have unrestricted access to all available data entry fields. There should only be one purpose for each key or command, and this purpose should be shared by all systems. Consistency is the most crucial capability for any system, regardless of which one it belongs to. Discuss the various ways that information can be highlighted on a computer display. Which methods are most effective? Various techniques for emphasizing information on a computer screen. Information is highlighted to improve the output without diverting the user. Typically, highlighting is used sparingly to draw attention to only the most significant information. It is occasionally also used to compile pertinent data. Here is a list of common methods for highlighting. Users are drawn to some type of announcement or warning using various colors. Different intensities allow us to emphasize certain pieces of information on display over others. Different font sizes are a handy way to showcase information on any type of display, whether it be monochrome or color. Reverse video is another useful technique for highlighting, boxing, underlining, use of all capital letters. A good way to highlight unusual information is to offset its positions.
What are agile methodologies? In practical terms, agile software development methodologies are all about delivering small pieces of working software quickly to improve customer satisfaction. These methodologies use adaptive approaches and teamwork to focus on continuous improvement. Agile methodology is a step-by-step, dynamic focus on short-term visibility but never losing the long-term product goal. There are five main Agile methodologies: Scrum, Kanban, Extreme Programming, Lean Development, and Crystal.
Describe the three stages that information systems development has passed through. Mainly, an information systems development consists of six important stages. It is system survey, needs analysis, design, implementation, testing, change, and maintenance. But information systems development or SDLC has three main points, which is system identification, selection, and system planning. System identification is the process to identify the problems that the company faces and the system it has. The team will look for any solutions that can be done to overcome this. Selection is where the team will apply evaluation points to the development project to make sure that the solutions are created in accordance with the company's expected targets. System planning is the step of developing a plan to start working by the team and implement the information systems development concept that has been chosen by the team. These three main points are part of the first stage of information systems development, which is the system survey stage. These three main points are the three stages that information systems development has passed through. Explain extreme programming. Extreme programming or XP is an agile methodology that targets speed and simplicity with short development cycles and less documentation. Who created extreme programming? Kent Beck created back in 1990s. Kent Beck created this agile methodology to manage the development of a payroll software system for Chrysler called the C3 project. Similar to other agile methodologies, extreme programming or XP uses adaptable, test-driven development for software engineering. But unlike other agile methodologies, extreme programming has strict rules and guiding values that govern how the work gets done.
Five rules of the extreme programming methodology. Number 1. Planning. During the planning stages, you are determining whether the project is viable and the best fit for extreme programming. Check in to see if the user stories meet the simplicity criteria and make sure the customer is available for the process. It probably won't work for XP if the user story is more complicated or written by an anonymous customer. 2. Managing is to distribute updates in real time that assist the team in identifying, adapting, and making changes more quickly. The stories that will guide your work will be reviewed by you and your team during your quarterly cycle. Your responsibilities as a manager or team leader will be to keep track of the progress of the work, measure it, move team members around to address bugs or issues as they arise, or adapt the XP process to your current project and iteration. Third is designing. Class responsibility collaboration cards are frequently utilized by XP methodology teams to demonstrate how each design objects interacts with one another. Fourth is coding. To reduce errors, only one pair can update code at a time. Lastly, testing. Throughout the extreme programming process, you should be testing. An acceptance test will be set up later using the same user story you've been working on. The customer looks over the results of this test to see how well you incorporated the user story into the product. User involvement typically refers to potential users or representatives participating in the system development process in an information system. Most of the time, user involvement in the development of information systems is seen as a crucial way to improve system quality and ensure successful implementation. Users can provide more specifics if they participate in the system development cycle. Since the last few decades, researchers in information systems have focused on the impact of user participation on the development of successful systems. Management scholars are aware that involving users in the design of management information system takes time, is expensive, and can politicize issues related to MIS development. By presuming that user participation will provide valuable input to various technical decisions, user involvement in information system development efforts can be sparked. In system development, developers must observe the existing issues and determine the new system's requirements during the initial study and design phases. Continuous user involvement is a method for determining requirements in system design. After the phase of gathering requirements is completed, the user is kept out of the development process or phases until the. What are the 12 programming practices? To further hone the process, extreme programming also uses a set of 12 practices: the planning game, customer tests, small releases, simple design, pair programming, test-driven development, refactoring, ownership, continuous integration, sustainable pace, metaphor, and coding standard.